Is right now the best time to invest into the Pokemon TCG? Well, let's take a look at some sealed product and booster boxes to decide whether or not right now is the right time for you to be investing into the Pokemon TCG. We'll look at everything in the Scarlet and Violet from beginning to end and talk about which sets you should be looking at investing in and which ones you should wait on and the reasons behind that. Right after this. Alright everybody, I'm Andy with Northwoods TCG, and today we're going to be talking about investing in the Pokemon booster boxes from the Scarlet and Violet era. Now, as we know, the market's correcting, things are changing, and this sometimes scares people into not wanting to invest. People just naturally want to see gains on their products immediately, and sometimes that's good, and it does work out that way, and things go up and up and up. But in general speaking, as an investment, things do not continue to go up just indefinitely. We see market fluctuations, changes and adaptations, corrections, and all of that occurring inside of Pokemon products, inside of investments, just in general. So right now, in my opinion, we are in kind of a market correction at this point in time. Is it a crash? No. Is it a complete and total drop in the Pokemon TCG? No. It's just a correction. We're seeing it cool down. There is a lot of new sets, a lot of new products, a lot of things happening right now in November of 2025. And does that mean that you're out of the market and it's going to be a complete and total disaster? No, and I don't think so. And this is why. Number one, when we're talking about Pokemon investment, we have a lot of things coming. UPCs are coming left and right. We have new sets coming left and right. We have new products coming left and right. And this is causing a bottleneck in the products because, number one, people only have so much money that they can spend on products. Number two, there's only so much space that people have for products. And number three, people are maxing out their credit cards and there's only so many things that people can remain interested in, which is causing a bit of a bottleneck when it comes down to investments right now at this point in time. Me, myself, I've been talking about it. We've been intentionally kind of banking money knowing that this situation was going to happen. If you've been watching the channel for the last few months, you know that this is a conversation that we have had, and it's a good conversation to be looking at. But it is now the time to start shifting gears and starting to invest into the Pokemon TCG. Well, if you're trying to time the market, then no. I think that there's still some drop in this market and there's still time to jump in on some of these products. But if we take a look at where we're at currently on some of these, I think now's a good time to start buying in and start buying slow. You don't need to buy lump sum, right? You can sit there and continually buy and take advantage of this drop and use the dollar cost averaging method in order to get a good deal. So we're going to take a look first off right now at Scarlet and Violet. And Scarlet and Violet has had a really interesting road when it comes down to TCG. It's really just been a flat set, right? So if you're looking at an investment, is Scarlet and Violet a great set to be walking into? Not necessarily. I think that overall that there's, as you can see in the chart, we see this up and down kind of undulating line. It's a normal base set in my opinion. We're seeing some characteristic growth, but then you're seeing retraction. It just never gets legs. And it's the same thing with like Scarlet or Sword and Shield. It's the same thing with Sun and Moon. They just kind of peter along. Sometimes they'll get a little bit of a jump because the overall set or the era gets older and it just jumps all of a sudden to catch up a little bit. But in general, it just never really performs very well, which is very characteristic of a base set when it comes down to the Pokemon TCG. We're going to go into Paldea Evolved, another one here, as you can see on the screen in front of me, where we've got Paldea Evolved performing like Paldea Evolved has. In the last 6 months, we've gone from $300. It got all the way up to a high of roughly $475, and now we've seen a retraction back down to about $375. So if you bought it at the peak, you're down, of course. You can see that. But that doesn't necessarily mean now is not a good time to buy into Paldea Evolved. And there's a couple reasons why I think Paldea Evolved will do good long term. Number one, has a great array of alternate art or illustration rares and secret illustration rares in them. A full lineup of both the starters from the Scarlet and Violet era, along with some really hot ones like the Magikarp inside of it as well. Number two, we are past the point of reprint on this particular set. We will not be seeing any reprints of this if the Pokemon holds true. Granted, that's a bad thing to say in a way because, you know, typically Pokemon could print something 3 years, 4 years, 10 years down the line. There's nothing really stopping it. But they're focusing on the newer sets, and they're probably not going to go back to this. It's going out of rotation here in April. It's going to run out of playability. all of us in the playing side of the Pokemon TCG are starting to rotate these cards out naturally, because we know coming up in the next 4 months we're probably not going to be using these cards any longer. Usually April is the rotation point, and that's going to be the end of the Scarlet and Violet era. It's hard to believe that we're already rotating out of the Scarlet and Violet era, and this is starting to happen coming up here in April. Paldea Evolved, though, I don't think you're in danger of reprints. If it's a little bit down and that market's kind of moving downward, great time to kind of buy in really slow and take advantage of that market, guys. That's a great time right now to be buying in and starting to go down with this market and keep following it down a little bit, but keep purchasing slowly so that you hit that bottom and come back up and cost dollar average back out the other side. That way you do really well. It's a great opportunity right now in this market to do that. Next one we're going to jump into is Obsidian Flames. Of course, the first Charizard set of the Scarlet and Violet era. Once again, kind of the same story right now. We had a low right now back in June. You're about $238 for this particular booster box. It went up to a peak of about $335, and now we're currently right down about $290. Not as big of a drop as Paldea Evolved, but still a bit of a drop when it comes down to the actual set. Do I think this is a great time to start jumping in as well? I think so. I don't think Charizard set's going to perform as well as like Paldea Evolved, but if you are looking for a little bit cheaper box to get into, I think that this is going to give you that option. It's going to be probably continue dropping down. I could see this going down to about $260. If you want to time it, you could do that. If you want to, just start buying now and buy like 1 or 2 booster boxes every single week or every month, every couple weeks, and continue to build that collection as it continues in that downward motion. It gives you time to kind of cost dollar average that out and get her down to that trough, and then when it starts going up, buy a few more boxes. As it continues to go up, then you just get out of it and then move on to the next item. Great way to do that right now. Obsidian Flames giving you that option. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the next one, which is Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift to me is a very weak set overall in the Pokemon TCG. Is it an investment favorite for myself? No. Do I think it's going to perform really, really great long term? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to inherently have some people that enjoyed it. Some people are really going to like some of the variant Pokemon, either the ancient or the futuristic Pokemon inside of it. I think Iron Valiant is a really cool concept. I think it would have been a better concept if it was the Mega version of Gallade. But overall, I just don't think it's going to be as strong as a performer. And we can see that historically on what we're seeing right now currently on Paradox Rift. Back in May, end of May, beginning of June, we were about $210. And currently today we're about $230. It actually peaked out right now, looking at the chart, about $325. And once again, I think that it's going to have a really slow, very slow growth. It's going to be more comparable to battle styles or a base set performance. Once again, you have these specialty, rarity, weird sets that do something different, like battle styles with a rapid strike, single strike. They don't necessarily perform as well because of the offshoots that come with that. And it may create a new play mechanic, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the Pokemon are going to take some favoritism and they're going to become the new things that people are chasing. And I think we're seeing that a lot even on the illustration rares and the secret illustration rares in these sets, that are just not performing comparatively to your standardized Pokemon in the later sets, in Twilight Masquerade and going forward at that point in time. Moving on to the next one, Temporal Forces, another one of these Paradox sets. Same thing. We're just seeing really, really consistent growth on this one. I think at this point, anytime jumping in is right on the cusp. You're right on the edge of where you may not get reprints or you may get reprints. This set is technically going to move into the next rotation. It is not rolling out. Paldean Fates is going to be the last one that rolls out. But overall, if we look at this one as an early set, it's just been consistent growth. The problem is that I have with this is, if they do a reprint at the 2-year mark of this particular set, you're going to run the risk that it's going to kind of drop quite a bit, and it's probably not going to recover. Once again, the Paradox Pokemon just are not holding the value, and if you add more of those into those particular singles into the market, we're going to see an even bigger dip in the pricing of those singles, which in turn is going to create an even bigger dip in the overall booster boxes and possibly really drive them down. So Paradox Rift to me is just a hold right now. Let's let it go until we get past that 2-year mark that's coming up here, roughly around, March here of 2026. That's going to get us close to that 2-year mark, and that's going to give us a real good feel of whether or not we're going to get more product of this particular set. If it's done, if we're completely finished with it, I don't know. It could technically get more. It's just not having a lot of playability. I know that the Raging Bolt card is actually playing right now, and it is in a couple decks that have been competitive in the top 10 in tournaments, but that doesn't mean that it's going to hold up as more and more mega. Phantasmal Flames, the big question coming up on Friday and then coming up in the next tournaments after Friday, are definitely going to give us a feel for what's going to happen with the Phantasmal Flames and the mega sets. So that's going to be the real key when it comes down to what's going to happen with Temporal Forces, in my opinion. We're going to kick into the next one, which is, I'm just going to go right to Destined Rivals, guys. All the ones in between right now are just in such flux. We don't know. Pricing's all over the place. We're still getting products of Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade ETBs are still floating around. We do know that the sets have been just doing the same as the first year of the Pokemon or of Scarlet and Violet, but that does not mean that we're going to see big gains or that they're going to fall. I think that in general, you could probably buy a few of them here and there. You are running the risk, though, as we get close to the 2-year mark of these particular booster boxes, that we may see other products in that set get reprinted very heavily. Maybe not booster boxes, maybe it'll be ETBs, maybe it'll be sleeve blisters. Could be other products that will actually drive the price of those down, because it drives the single price down. Right now, a lot of Scarlet and Violet is really driven by those single prices on how well it performs. And as more product comes in, more singles hit the market, it starts to drag down all the sets because of the fact that there's an influx of singles, drops the price, and pulls everything down with it. So right now, a lot of these sets in that mid-range, from Temporal Forces all the way to current, I'm just kind of saying wait on them. A good example is, of course, Destined Rivals as well. Destined Rivals, we've got the booster box, and of course we had that big buyout where it went up to almost $700. But currently, you know, everybody was up to $700 thinking this was going to do extremely well. It was about $265 on release. That was back in right at the end of June here. Again, I'm going back 6 months roughly. End of May, beginning of June, we were about $260 for that particular booster box. Right now, we're at about $385. Once again, if you would have bought it on release, you're doing really, really well. If you waited and it peaked out right around $465, was consistent sales. I'm not saying the $700 sales weren't a sale. I'm just saying that the consistent sales are happening at about $465. So that's where we got up to for a peak on this, and now we've seen it kind of come back as well. Now the question is are we going to get more reprints of Destined Rivals? We just got sleeve blisters, guys. So sleeve blisters are rolling out. We're seeing Destined Rivals in a lot of products currently. It's a very popular set, and it's showing up in a lot of different products, a lot of different places right now. Are booster box reprints out of the question for Destined Rivals? Absolutely not. I think that that's still on the table as well. So those are all factors you need to keep in consideration when you're trying to decide, is now the time to buy into these particular sets? I just want to cover this, guys. Hopefully this was a little bit of an insight into the investment side of the Pokemon TCG. Overall, I think that there's getting to be investment opportunities at the beginning. The first year of Scarlet and Violet, the ones that's going to phase out here in April, are definitely the sets to be looking for. So basically, Scarlet and Violet base set, not really big rush for me. You could wait on that one, or if you wanted to buy a couple and hold them. Base sets just perform like base sets. We've seen it historically, how they handle, and I don't think that this is going to change at this point in time. Paldea Evolved, I think, is going to do really, really well. I think that now is a good time to start buying a few of those, and Obsidian Flames is in the same boat. I think you could start buying a couple of those every week or every couple weeks or once a month, whatever you're comfortable with, and I think overall you're not going to be sad with the performance of these in a couple of years, in a year or two, even 3 years down the road. Paradox Rift Temporal Forces, I think you're going to see slow, consistent gains, but I think in that first year block, really the two that you should be focusing on is Paldea Evolved and, of course, into Obsidian Flames. Now, I'm focusing on booster boxes, but I don't want to count out Paldean Fates either. Paldean Fates is one of those sets. Surprisingly, we have not gotten many reprints of it. We've gotten other tertiary products like tins and the 6-pack booster bundles, but we have not really gotten any ETB reprints, which is something we were all hoping for. I personally was hoping for more of those, but we didn't get them. So overall, I think the ETBs are just going to continue to soar. So right now, may not be the worst time to buy into them. I don't see them doing another Paldean reprint at this point in time. We just got a bunch of Paldean Fates, and I think that that's pretty much going to flow out, and that's going to be it, because it's going out of rotation as well, right with the first year of the Scarlet and Violet block. So that's all phasing out here, moving into April of 2026. It's all going to be going away out of the rotation. That means it's going to come out of the print phase. They're going to focus on the newer sets rather than going back to outer print sets. So these are all factors to consider when you're looking at your purchasing right now, Pokemon TCG. So hopefully this is good information. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and it helps you out when you're looking at Pokemon investment. Is now the best time to start buying in? I think it's a really good time to start. Not all in. Don't dump everything at one time. Take your time and just slowly cost dollar average into it, right? Just keep running the wave down until it hits the bottom. When it hits the bottom and starts coming up, then you stop buying. You start relaxing and enjoying the income that you're going to see from doing that particular method in Pokemon TCG right now. Crash, don't think crash is happening. I think that there's just not enough product out there to cause a crash. We might be having a lot of people just spread out all different directions right now, but I think now that we are going to have a little bit of a break into the next set, so we aren't going to be getting a set until January 25th, and since that's going to occur, we're going to see people start to come back together. That bottleneck's going to open up. People are going to start spending money now once the Moltres box is out, once the Charizard UPC is all out. All this Black Friday stuff here this week is all going to go out, and once that happens, it's going to open up, and I think we're going to see more cash moving again in different places like booster boxes and all of those ETBs and those particular products that just been a little dead for the last couple weeks. People have been prepping for Black Friday, and I think that that's been a factor as well to the performance of these things. So there's a lot of things happening right now. Just let things kind of slide through, and I think that we'll be doing well here in the near future on a lot of these sets. Hopefully this helps you out. If it does, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that like, and last but not least, hit that notify so you know we're doing new things here on Northwoods TCG. Also, join us live every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Time, and we'll hope to see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.